Yes, absolutely.
That's
Now,
funny.
here's the next funny thing. You have no idea how many shows I've seen recently about us being in a Matrix.
Mm.
And I'm not talking about the Matrix movie. I'm talking about things that
The
I've seen on.
simulated reality.
Yes, and
Yeah.
not only that, but how they've explained it, why it is, why they believe that it is,
Yeah.
and so forth and so on. It doesn't even talk about the silicone chip inside her head. It's
Yes.
just talking about how we are.
In a quantum field,
Well, yes,
everything, the wave function collapses based on the observer. That was the double slit
yes,
experiment,
yes,
and
yeah.
they already worked that out in a box in a lab 80 years ago, and now
Wasn't that
scientists think.
Schrodinger's cat?
So yes, I think it was. Well, that was it. Schrodinger. Yes, it's the. Yeah, I remember that. I can't quite remember
Schrodinger's
what the
cat is
location
either the
was.
cat's alive or the cat's dead, but it's in one state or the other until you observe it. As long as it's in the box, it's alive. But until you open the box, you don't know that it's alive or dead.
Yeah. It's the quantum field is basically changing according to our vibration. So
Yes,
everything we're talking about, and we'll quote all our source material. These are all the guys that have been on Lex Friedman and
yes,
have been on.
yeah.
I
He
mean,
was on one of them. As a matter of fact, one of the shows I watched last night actually had an excerpt from one of the Lex Friedman shows in that with the guy talking about it specifically. So yeah,
David Chalmers. I'll text you him.
I think that's who it was.
Oh, was it?
It might have been. That name sounds familiar from last night.
Yes, now he breaks it down right from the beginning and tells you. The other guy is Donald Hoffman. I'll send you, there's a precise one though where he breaks it down. It's still in language a lot of people would find confusing, but if you understand the concept, you can understand the language.
Right,
And
right.
it all breaks down to, and he's combining science with spirituality. He's like, there's something going on here. Now he's a scientist that's prepared to say that. A lot of them won't introduce the God factor into this because they feel like it can discredit. But there is a creator behind this. And it's a
Yes.
God or a super evolved intelligence. We don't know what it is.
Right, and and we already have invented our own video arcade games and video games and all of that in that
Yeah.
aspect. So what's to say that a level one above us didn't create what we are?
Yeah, quite. And we're already creating AI, so we know we can
Yes,
do it.
yes,
And yeah, I mean, we could just be an advanced intelligence. I just, the mind boggles about what God is. We're
yes.
often dealing with the concept of this, old man in the sky who's taken on human form, but we just don't know. But the big point is, though, I'm assuming and operating under the premise that whatever or whoever created this is benevolent, lovely, has our best interests at heart, that there's something major and it's beautiful going on here. That's the faith level that has to be inserted into this.
And the other thing is that you actually have to really believe.
Yeah.
Because if you only say it, if you only say the words, it's saying the words. I'll give you an example, and this is a really bad example because of what happened and how it happened, but it actually happened. And my Sandy is. She's stuck in this house. She's in extreme pain. She's the way she is all the time, and about the fact about all the cats that we have around here. And one day
Yeah.
she said, "Man, I just wish we didn't have so many. God damn it, I wish we didn't have so many cats." And the next day, one of her cats, came back with its jaw broken, and
Oh.
it can't. I said,
Oh.
it said, "Stop saying stuff like that." It's you don't understand the power of what
The
you just
power.
did. You just created. I can't tell her that she created that to happen.
Hmm.
And right now she's in the decision of trying to decide whether to see if she can get the jaw fixed or if she can. If we end up putting the cat to sleep. But
Oh.
the next day she said something. I said, "Stop saying that. We've already lost Boo. Your cat just had this problem,
Hmm.
and you're not grasping the
And it's
concept of
also, I
what
mean,
you're wishing. I
no,
mean,
and you're saying it out loud. But this is
yes,
also what you were thinking,
yes,
even if you weren't to say it. If this is on your mind, I wish I didn't have so many cats. And then that's part of the quantum field that exists.
Yes.
That's there, and you're entering into it.
Right.
And it's a low vibration. So is Sandy near to grasping that she's that powerful, or is this just
No.
too woo-woo for her?
Too woo-woo.
Yeah.
Even though she read Illusions many years ago, it's not something that stuck to her. You know, she understands where I'm at with it and everything, and she knows what I'm doing. However, she won't watch our podcast. She won't watch any of it. She won't listen to any of it or any of that type of thing because it's just not, you know, it's not.
Not in her wheelhouse.
Yeah, thanks. That's a better way of saying it.
Yeah. It's funny because when we put out the Mirror World, and that's laid out very quickly and succinctly in like 78 pages,
Right.
People will be able to see this for themselves,
right.
And it'll be quite shocking.
Yes.
The other, this is funny. So I haven't told you about my episode on the sleeping pills.
No.
So I went to the doctor, and I'm still having hot flashes at night. And he said, "Oh, there's a new sleeping pill on the market. I want you to try it." He's told me about it.
Oh yeah, you did tell me about this. They keep you awake?
Well, no. What it what it did. So I was on one before called Lunesta for 3 weeks, and I didn't like it because it left me with brain fog. But that was part of the side effects.
Yes.
So he gave me this new one, and I said, "Well, what's different about this one?" And he said, "Well, it acts on the part of the brain that alcohol acts on." And I thought, well, okay, I enjoy a glass of wine. It's not a downer for me.
Right.
So on over 5 nights, on day 5, I woke up and I was lodged in ego mind thinking. I was completely lodged in negativity,
really,
old stuff, and I could see myself in it, and I could pull myself out of it, but then I would be pulled back in, weeping and crying like you wouldn't believe. And so I flushed them down the toilet, and then I had to spend 4 days detoxing. So on day 4 or 5 now I've just written a letter to the doctor, because then I looked at the side effects. I googled the side effects. The side effects are delusions, hallucinations, and thoughts, and listen to this one, and thoughts that are not yours.
Ooh.
And I'm like, whoa. And
maybe we do. Maybe you shouldn't have gotten rid of them. Maybe we could delve into those thoughts that aren't ours.
Well, I could always go back to the doctor and say, well, they did very well, actually, to give me some more. But I want the doctor to know now I can meditate, I can control my thoughts, bring myself out and choose what I think about. If that had that effect on me, I'd hate to think of the downer effect that would have on someone that can't do that with their mind.
Right. And most people can't because they don't know about it.
They don't know how to meditate and bring yourself back to center. And it's new on the market. That should have been a bloody warning.
Yeah. Well, the one that gets me is, serious side effects may cause bleeding of in the stomach. Side effects can also occur to death and stuff like that. It's like, what? I mean, I don't ever remember hearing shit like that when I was growing up about aspirin or any of the drugs that they had then, you know? I mean...
Yeah. Terrible. I mean, absolutely, the side effects are worse than the original problem being addressed. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
But it was a good venture into the mind space of what a drug will do. So I've written about it, and I'm going to do a blog post about it, and then we'll have a conversation about it. But I'm going to say to the doctor, just be careful. Don't be handing this stuff out.
Yeah, especially if other people. I mean, the patients have no clue. I mean, the doctor didn't warn you about any of those side effects in advance. So,
no.
I mean...
He didn't say anything about that. He said, here, take these for 30 days and come back and tell me how it worked. Well, I couldn't even get past day 5.
Yeah, that's what, 1/6 of the amount of time.
And one of the funny things, when I really, it was the following day I stopped taking them, and I was lying down. They didn't stop the hot flashes, but they made you go back to sleep. So I was ending up having like 12 hours sleep. It was ridiculous. And so I was watching a Beyonce concert. It was Coachella.
Okay.
And Beyonce was on stage, and about 5 months previously to this, she'd given birth to twins through a C-section. So not only was she training for Coachella, she was building her stomach walls back up. She didn't smoke, didn't drink, only vegan, no fish and no carbs or anything. And she was doing 12 hours a day with her dancers, and then she had to dance this and then sing this, and she has this band,
right?
And then she had a big stadium in a pyramid, And then I watched this for 2.5 hours after, and I felt, and I started crying after. I felt so inadequate. This looked like a superhuman. The effort and the discipline, the dance routines,
Right.
Frank. Oh my
Yeah, the
God.
choreography. And if I'm not mistaken, she does a lot of that herself, too.
Oh, she was up there with her dancers. I mean, her choreo, and just to remember it. And then she's got to belt out all these songs.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
she was just like, she made me feel so inadequate as a human being. That was part of my downer on my sleeping pills.
Okay, so now that's understandable because of you were watching something that actually put you in that position. That was an external stimuli that had an effect on your psyche.
Hmm. Yes, it did. And it wasn't a positive one. Now,
Right.
I could watch a Beyonce concert, any concert. I could do Michael Jackson, and I wouldn't feel like that. I'd be like, wow, that's amazing.
You know what? I'll
So,
bet you if you watched it again, but you did, if you hadn't, after
had this
taking it,
poison in me.
yeah, without having that, you wouldn't. You'd think that she was on the right track, not a superhuman necessarily.
Yes, exactly. It was, and so this is, so I decided, because I knew what was happening to my consciousness, I decided the best thing to do, Sarah, is not leave the house. But
Yeah,
I'd
good,
forgotten to
smart
put the
move.
bathroom. Well, no, listen to this. So this is where I ended up in the quantum field. So I'd forgotten to put my trash out, but we have a transfer station down the road. So the trash goes out on a Tuesday, and I took it down to the transfer station, and there was quite a lot of it. And then you just pull up, and then you just throw your bags into this big machine. I threw a bag and it hit the side, and then what fell out were maggots, and it was over chicken wings.
Ah,
And there was just maggots everywhere. And then this guy came out, and he was looking, and now he has to bring the broom out, and it was just, and I just laughed to myself that even me protecting myself from the quantum field, it manifested as that, a very negative, horrible, and I hate maggots. I mean, there
yeah,
were just hundreds of them crawling. And I said to this, I said, I'm terribly sorry. And I left $10 for him because he had to sweep all this up. And then we both laughed. It was kind of funny because it was so gross.
right,
And then I came back home. But that was part of the negativity that I had been feeling. It manifested right there. Because in the quantum field, that bag should have gone in, and I should have never have seen what was, had been out there for 6 days.
right,
But there it
exactly.
was, just exploded. It was so funny. So, yeah.
That is and remember that is the first part of one of the shows that we had talked about. Maggots turn into flies.
Mm.
They're on their way to becoming something else.
Yeah, they are. But the fact that they become a maggot to begin with, because that was
Yeah,
just
now where
chicken
that comes
bone.
from, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah, how do a chicken bone, which is now dead and has no life in it, is actually birthing life.
Yes, well,
The
it
meat is
does have life in it
replicating.
because it's got food and nutrition.
Right.
And those,
Yeah. See, if we were really hungry, it would be really good, wouldn't it, to harvest maggots?
yes,
Because then you could just fry them in a pan, and you could just eat them. If you've got that as like a self-sustaining meat.
in a way, it certainly is.
I wonder if there's any protein in them.
Yeah,
Probably.
I think that I'm not 100% certain, but if I'm not mistaken, I think they're 100% protein.
Is the maggot the same as a mealworm?
I don't know. I don't think
No.
so.
Okay.
I don't know what that one is. I'd have to look that up.
A mealworm I used to feed to. I had a bearded dragon, Tyson his name was, and he used to get mealworms and crickets. But I have to look. I mean, they look the same. They're kind of like a little caterpillar type of thing that's squirming around. But yes, that was my interlude. But I'm back to normal again now, and
Good.
not